It's funny because they literally do not want you to know this, and we're going to talk about this. There are a few ways to be able to get the Arc Boss weaponry, and there are a few ways that people do not discuss on how to work on the Arc Boss weaponry. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of those reasons, and some people are going to be very upset that this information is being covered by content creators. But the information is out on Reddit, so I thought this seems like a great idea for everybody. Now, this video is not clickbait. I know that in my upload that I've done yesterday, this one here, I did a bit of a joke here and thought, haha, this would be funny, but hee to me because people are a little upset on that one. I missed the mark on that video, and we're just going to keep the flow going, and I will do better when I have videos that I make jokes on. So this one, let me make up for it. Let me make it right here. So there is a Reddit article going around also discussing other ways of getting Queen Bellandir and Tevent weaponry. And I also know quite a bit of things about this as well, because a lot of my guildmates have actually gone out of their way to do certain things in order to be able to unlock this weaponry free to play. Now, it is a daunting task. It is quite the grind, but we're going to discuss all of this in this video. Now, first off, there is this Reddit thread here. I want to give credit to the original poster here up at the top. So shout out to Inflicties. But ways that you can earn the Queen Bellandir staff and the Tevent weaponry is simply by going to the world bosses. But little did some people know, and seems like a lot of people don't know, that you can also go out of your way to earn pity pieces. Those are the shards, the Tevent shards, the Queen Bellandir shards. I'm going to call them pity pieces in this video, so get familiar with that term. Pity pieces are obtainable in other ways, such as fishing, as well as going to other guild open world events. For the Tevent and Bellandir weaponry, not only for these pity pieces are you able to fish for them, you will have a very, very small chance at getting small sacks, large sacks, or blue colored sacks that will guaranteed have these shards and fragments inside of them. Another way that you can also earn some of these pity fragments is also through the guild events in game. If you open up your map and you go over to the timetable here, going to the desert caravan event, Queen Bellandir can spawn during this event. When Queen Bellandir does spawn, she also has a chance at spawning a chest or an interactable loot box. The first person who opens it will get a Queen Bellandir pity piece. And the same goes for the Dark Destroyer event. During the Dark Destroyer event, Tevent has a chance of spawning. And when Tevent spawns and dies, he has a chance of dropping Tevent pity pieces as well. Both of these bosses during both of these guild events have multiple chances of spawning and have chances of dropping multiple shards. Going back and to this article also talks a bit more about these pity pieces. So again, you have a chance of going to these world bosses and then these things dropping, but when these items do drop at the rarity that they do, it's hard to get your hands on them, especially if your guild is doing loot council stuff, or maybe if you're rolling for it as well. But I'd like to also add here on this point here that is covered in this article, Tevent also has been spawning in ruins of terrain when the other dynamic events start, even without Dark Destroyers and roaming, providing the above buff to enemies for you to kill for a small chance at a fragment. They farmed that twice today, and when he spawned at a dentist spawn location, he's seen him usually spawn north of a dentist, circling there for a bit before moving to a dentist location as well, circled there for a while, went to the crater northwest of this waypoint in ruins of terrain, and also went somewhere like northeast of there, and he roams there for about 10 to 12 minutes before disappearing into the ground. His friend, who barely plays, got lucky and got 2 fragments within 5 minutes of doing this today, and they also got 1. So he can spawn during the Dark Destroyers event. He can also spawn during any dynamic event and affects the mobs in the contacted area that he is around. So we go back to this first point talking about fishing. Fishing sacks has a 0.3% chance from small sacks to roll either a Bellandir or a Tevent fragment, 0.6% chance for the big sacks to roll on either fragment. The Amatoy expedition pouches have a small chance to get the fragment from those. Just check each pouch drop table to see which ones have his. These are reportedly not able to be traded though. So when you're doing your expeditions, there are blue sacks that have a chance of dropping some loot. If you hover over the sack, this is the loot table for this particular expedition, and they are different. If you hover over Daybreak Shore has a chance of dropping some pouches. You'll notice that there's a Queen Bellandir soul fragment, as well as a Kraken fishing rod at the top. You go over the Raging Wilds, once again, you have a Queen Bellandir soul fragment. So if you hover over these pouches, you'll notice that these pouches will label if there is a pity piece involved in these. So we go to Ruins of Terrain expedition, and you'll notice on these pouches, there is a Tevent soul fragment involved in potentially obtaining from these expeditions. So as I finish up with the expedition that I have, I actually get a chance of having a pouch. I open this pouch that I had a chance to get, and maybe I'll get lucky with a Queen Bellandir. Nope, just a precious parchment. But this is another way that you can earn them. And again, Tevent roams during Dark Destroyer event. This is a PvP event though, so good luck with that. Basically follow the giant purple floating ghost, kill the enemies with the blue buff icon mentioning Tevent when you hover over it for a small chance at getting a fragment. That's during the event. But back to fishing, I have had one of my friends already fish full time to craft his Queen Bellandir staff. He has gone through and used all of his ornate coins for all of the fishing paste bait that he has used, and the fishing paste bait he has mentioned has the best, if not the only chance at getting these sacks. That statement right there could be wrong, but I've done a bunch of research amongst other people. Fishing bait is the one, the paste bait has the highest praise for the sacks. So I'm going to recommend that based on all the information that I have been told, though I'm not 100% sure it's the most accurate. Because some people have broken down fish for fishing bait. I know that is the way to get it. I have not heard of good sack count return from doing that though. He's done that and bought all the baits from the ornate shop since the very beginning and done 12 hours of fishing every single day for 6 days, he claims, straight, and gone through an average of about 23 to 25,000 bait to finally pitycraft his Queen Bellandir staff. Whenever he caught a Tevent shard, he would sell that Tevent shard, and then he would then buy some Bellandir fragments to help with that Bellandir staff. But what's great about this article in particular, everyone laughed at this clown who DM'd me earlier saying he revealed Korea's big secret on how to farm fragments. And when you click this open, you got an angry beaver here that says, hey, your method of farming fragments in Ruins of Terrain was working also in Korea for the past year, and everyone kept it a secret. Good job letting people know now. Already today, there was a Zerg on our server. Instead of keeping it to yourself, you just had to do it. Yeah, because nobody was going to be smart enough to figure that out and talk about it. Dang it. That's crazy. And yet here we are over in NA, and we figured that out almost immediately. Good job, guys. You did it. So people are upset. People are mad. Apparently, the people don't want this being talked about. This is an important detail. So if you're interested in doing active farming for your Arc Boss weaponry, this is quite the marathon. But as we know, MMOs are all marathons. And this is something, if not the thing, to do on top of participating actively on the Wednesdays and the Saturdays, especially if you don't want to be involved in the conflict version of these Arc Bosses. Let's read this over a little bit more. I'd made a post for Queen Bellandir asking about her fragments before just digging in and getting into the clips necessary for that post. So now it's time to talk about the Tevent fragments. Maxwell guide on Arc Boss is nice and all, but it's missing a lot of information and keeps it pretty general instead of getting specific with clips and other footage. Bellandir post is right here. So that's just going over the Bellandir stuff that we talked about earlier, but for the sake of the video, we'll roll this open. So again, talking about the Queen Bellandir during the Desert Caravan. So here we are, Queen Bellandir spawning during this dynamic event, and then having a chance to spawn this chest, this bubble you see here. You open this up, and boom, there's a Queen Bellandir soul fragment. So Desert Caravan, Dark Destroyers, going over to Ruins of Terrain, a dentist area during dynamic events to look for Tevent spawning, clearing those mobs to get Tevent shards as well, active fishing for these shards. And to be honest, in the MMO genre, if you were to spend a full-time week or two grinding for something like this honestly seems pretty dang good in return for your time. I know it's a lot, but I've seen much worse. Refer to this post for another user showing an image of these spawns. So these are all the Tevent spawn locations: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This whole area in Ruins of Terrain, also by the Adentis spawning area, as well as by the Parrot Mail location if you do any contracts out here in this neck of the woods. Let's go see what the comments have to say. It was so disappointing to discover the fragments from expedition pouches are untradeable. And people didn't believe that you don't need a party or a peace boss. I got one fragment from fishing a sack today. And who could forget this guy? Telling all those people those secrets that we had. So the cat's out of the bag, the shards and soul fragments are out of the sack. Am I allowed to say that? And hopefully this information you will find helpful. So if you guys are interested in doing these things, there you are. But as far as that goes, I do hope that this video was helpful and informative, and maybe it gives you a new thing to do. If you guys have other additional tips and tricks to add to this topic, feel free to do it down in the comment section down below. I do stream quite regularly, and if you're interested in hanging out and joining me for mine and your adventure as well, come hang out in the Discord if you're ever interested in it. But as far as that goes, thank you so much if you've made it this far into the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace.